So first of all, I think we should start to not wait too long for our speaker. First of all, thank you so much to join today's Spark on Diverpymex on the Export Promotion Program, and welcome to today's session. Just for your information, we have 35 persons registered to today's Spark. For the technical aspect, you can choose your language channel in the interpretation below. There is a button where you can choose between Spanish and English language. And I would like to point out that after the presentation, we will organize a question and answer session. So we encourage you to ask the speaker some questions or give feedback. You can also write your questions in the chat. You can also write in English or Spanish, whatever you like. So today we are very pleased to listen to a presentation by Mr. Eduardo Ciancio, I hope I say your name right, Executive Director of the Banco Credicoop Foundation. Eduardo has more than 33 years of experience in cooperative banking. In 2011, he became the head of foreign trade at Banco Credicoop Foundation and was in charge of Diverpymex, which is the export diversification program. Since September 2021, he is the foundation's director. So today we will get an exclusive insight into the foundation's expert program. So Mr. Eduardo Ciancio, we are very excited to hear more about this program, which exists now for more than 20 years. So please.
Bueno, buenos días a todos, a todas.
Everybody, or good afternoon, depending on what part of the hemisphere you're at. I would like to begin by thanking you, thank the authorities, the Confederation for this space to be able to explain, let's say, the benefits of this program that is an export promotion program that has helped more than 300 SMEs to perfect those who already had some exporting experience and to start in foreign trade for those who didn't through this program. But I would like to talk a little bit about who we are and what we have done for several years now, because next year, as a foundation of the Credicoop Bank, we will have our 23rd birthday. It is a nonprofit organization that was established to provide benefits to the exporting sector of the nation. What are our areas? One is training, where we have agreements with all of the national universities of the country, where we work with an important amount of, let's say, of topics in the SME area. And we have a team of professionals that specialize on those subjects that we approach. On the other hand, we have an area of projects and technical assistance where we work in, let's say, seed or incubators, seed companies, and we help to train them and to strengthen them with a future idea of generating a project generator of this technological based projects. We've also been working with an agreement with the Ministry of Agriculture for training, basically with the universities, with the national universities. We provide this training projects trying to strengthen clusters and co-ops related to the agricultural and food security areas of our country. Within this area, we've signed an agreement with the scientific and technological sector of the country, trying to link knowledge with production through their technological link, let's say, and our bank has a very active participation in funding with our own funds at negative rates, innovative projects of SMEs of the country. Then we have the foreign trade area that I left for last because that's where we have the program, the diversification of SMEs in. In the foreign trade area, we also work in the training of subjects linked to international sector like customs, logistics, banking topics, and we update the knowledge of those operatives that are within the areas of international trade, both in importing companies and in exporting companies. We have technical assistance for companies. We also have the capacity to participate in foreign trade events, in international shows. We have worked in the, let's say, assembling the Argentinian pavilion in the international shows linked to the agricultural sector, where our country has an important technological development. We've participated in shows, international shows in Brazil, Colombia, Mexico, and in this same area, we have the export promotion program for SMEs. Our bank has an important portfolio of importing and exporting companies. This service that we provide of accompanying or providing support to the SMEs that are either linked to our bank or not, trying to help them and to strengthen them. In definitive, they are the ones that allow us to develop the Diverpymex program has a strategic basis that's really important for our organization because in addition to generating a link with the universities that have the international trade career, in one of the stages, we work with trainees. These are students who have been in their career in their last semesters who work on this area of international trade, and they come into work with companies that don't have an international trade area to help them. Another strategic topic is the competitive strength that we generate to the company, not only at the local level and local market, but also in the international market. So for our bank and for our foundation, being able to strengthen the local network is the productive local network is extremely important. Now, going into details into the technical development of the program, this program is a pioneer program in our foundation. It has 20 years of experience. In the beginning of my speech, I said that our foundation has been was established 23 years ago. So this is one of the products that we've developed. We have acquired the methodology of work of a mixed consultant that was in Copta de Catalunya Promotion Consortium. It's known now as Acción. And they have also, well, they have transferred that work methodology to us. And it was the consultant, the one that was entity that was selected among 25 international consulting companies because of three reasons. One, it was directed to the SME sector, the small, medium-sized company. It is the sector where our financial entity moves, and it was directed to all of the different sectors of the economy. And lastly, and something that's really important is that we were able to have more than 41 distributing centers in the world. And this was the door opening for those small and medium-sized companies that started with us in the program. This program was born as well to provide services to companies that already had experience in exporting throughout the years. We have duplicated our activities, directing this to companies that have and that don't have exporting experience, the ones that are just exporting for the first time. And this has allowed us to provide support to companies that are already in competitive markets like the American or the European markets, and they have been able to bring their products into those markets. So it filled us with satisfaction to achieve the results of we've achieved from the development of the program. It's the only program at the local or regional level that has a quality certification. It's the 7th renovation of our certificate. There's work from within the company, from within the consultant, and from the foreign trade area of our foundation that has to meet all of the different standards according to what is programmed by this certification agency. The program Diverpyme has 3 stages or 3 areas, let's say. The initial one is the diagnosis, and this is made by the consultant. The consultant is able or has a training through the methodology, and he has also a degree in international exports, international trade, and the service to SMEs. They analyze all of the areas of the company from the productive area, from the commercial area. And we must understand that international trade uh, leads us to compete with other companies that have similar characteristics in the world. So what that diagnosis provides is a result of knowing if the company is prepared to export or not. The second stage of the program is the preparation of the market diversification plan. We don't work only on one market. We analyze all of the prospective markets that exist. And then we start to do a selection based on distance, logistics, competitivity, and obstacles or barriers from the customs and para-customer area. So we do a very complete work trying to select the markets to know if the market where the execution of the market diversification plan is to take place works or not. This has an approximate term of 12 to 18 months, depending on how advanced the company is in foreign trade. What are the work schemes? The first contact is done by the operational coordinator. This could come together with a commercial channel from the bank. Throughout the country, we have 276 branches or 276 areas where those commercial channels are located, or from one of the activities we carry out either at the bank or the foundation, or maybe the company has heard about the program and they come in contact with us directly. There's the first contact, and there we explain the different steps of the program, and we tell them that it's not only that you should export the surpluses of his production, what they have not been able to place in the local markets, that foreign trade is something different, that we work based on the taste and preferences of those markets we want to approach, to have production capacity to approach those markets that have certain quality standards and arrive with products that are competitive in those markets. Then, after the company has accepted to join, and first of all, we need the company, a company that has the capacity to produce not only for the local market, but for the export markets too. After having spoken with the entrepreneur about all of these different steps, we fill a base form and we draw a contract, and then we start with a quality diagnosis. We do a diagnosis and we do a detailed analysis of each area, and then we start to work on that second stage. And here it would be the coordinator together with the consultant who work in the assembly of the diversification plan, where we analyze all of the different potential. In the second stage, we have the trainee figure. come in. When I talked about the strategic value of this program, you can imagine a student who will go out to the work market and where he's about to graduate, and that person who has already had work experience through the Credicoop bank as a student becomes a strong figure. When we talk about the intern or the trainee, it's someone who has come from an SME where he started with his work experience and who are now the managers of the export area of large companies. So this program not only strengthens the companies, but has a strategic value uh, in the accompaniment of our consultant or our foundation to this trainee who will, after graduating, will be the one who will be in charge of the foreign trade uh, area of those companies where he was initially a trainee. And then we go into the next stage, it's the execution plan of the market diversification program. This is a very, very efficient. The percentage of efficiency is very high. Why? Because we've done prior work until we're able to reach the exporting stage. This means virtual contact, personal contact. We send out samples, and this is always with the support of our consultant until we close the operation. That's why we have more than 80% of effectiveness in the program. What is or who are our target audiences? Any producer of goods and services, either a small or medium-sized company or a co-op with a proactive attitude is our target. It's not something that's temporary, that uses the international trade as a way out. No, it's a company that uses this as a strategy. They must have products and services adaptable to the international market, not only in prices and quality, but they must have enough uh, staff, both human resources and tools, to be able to come into that market they approached. They must have those resources to carry out the commercial strategy of the company. And as we have said, they must have a productive capacity to supply the, the prospective demand of their exports. Which are the objectives? The main objectives that we want to achieve through the program are the following. For those companies that had not exported before, is to have them export to generate a foreign trade area. For those who have had exports before, is to generate a further depth in the markets that they had approached earlier, where they're exporting to, or to gain new markets, and to create and consolidate this area of foreign trade that for SMEs is extremely important. And when we talk about SMEs, it's also for the bank and for the country. It's to generate exports and to be able to have revenues in foreign currency, which are the productive sectors where we've had experience, where we have accompanied companies. Those are the ones that you see in this slide. We have had products linked to technological innovation, nanotechnology, everything linked to agribusiness or agribusinesses. They have been able to enter international markets. Many of them had no prior experience, and they've been able to gain experience in these markets, and that was very, very productive. And this is my presentation. Now let's open the space to questions in our chat. I will give you our web address so you can contact us, also the mail areas, the mail of the foreign export areas. This is the type of training we provide to our different companies. We have the possibility of transfer our methodologies to those institutions that require it, taking into consideration that it is a very interesting experience. And if we add to that the support of the financial area that has importer and exporters, it'd be great to have both extremes together, to have those companies where we provide financing in credit lines or export credit lines, and to be able to achieve a contact with international trade. So I am at your disposal for any consultation or any question you can have, and thank you for the attention you gave me.
Thank you so much for this very interesting presentation. Thank you so much. Before I ask my question, is there anybody who would have a question or who would like to give their own feedback?
Yeah, maybe I can give a short comment. Muchas gracias, muy interesante. I will switch to English, which is more convenient for me as one of the guys here from abroad. I do trade finance here in DZ Bank, and we had actually some contact already with Banco Credicoop, especially in agro industry, of course. And looking forward to your program, and if you have some business for Germany, just think of us, please. And so very interesting. Thank you very much, sir. Muchas gracias. Muy amable.
Bueno, muchas gracias, Daniel. Con mucho gusto.
Thank you, Daniel. It was my pleasure. We are always thinking about those institutions that are part of the Confederation. And that's the idea, to generate business for the productive sector of each country. So I am available if you need me. Perfect, thank you.
Thank you, Daniel, for this first step, maybe for a new business opportunity. Is there anybody else who has a question? But I have a question. So you told us that this program exists now for more than 20 years, Eduardo, and what was your biggest challenge in those 20 years that you had to overcome or that you worked on? I would be interested, just in general.
Bueno, podrás imaginar que nuestro
Well,
país
you can imagine that our country is always posing different obstacles and barriers to our work. The change in the terms for international markets made the Argentinians, the normal, ordinary people, those who are part of the national productive sector of the SMEs mainly, we have learned how to deal with those changes, the both counter-cyclical and cyclical changes of our country in relation to the world, in addition to our geographical position. Well, this program adapts to the needs of the companies, of the sector, and of the market, the same as our bank. We've always been on the side of the companies trying to provide support and assistance through different situations and difficult moments when perhaps the subject of funding for production and for production for exports is difficult. The bank has always been there for them. So from the foundation, we've provided support, trying to help them to provide strength in relation to information, and the bank has provided the funding so they can really go through with their sales or their exports. There have been difficult moments always at all times, yes.
Gracias, muchas gracias.
No.
Thank you.
Is there anybody else who has a question?
Buenos días.
Good
Buenos
morning.
Good morning. Good
I can't hear her.
No, she's frozen. No.
Mm.
Valeria, you're frozen. Hello, hello.
Her internet connection is failing.
Welcome to Belgium, huh? Sorry.
Bienvenidos a Bélgica.
Seguramente va a intentar entrar nuevamente.
I think she's probably going to try to come in again into the chat. She left the Zoom and she might be trying to come in again.
Brigitte, may I give a little words?
Please, Claudio.
Okay, because I need to leave to another meeting, but thank you, the CIBP, for supporting us in promoting such initiatives as the one led by Eduardo. The Credicoop Foundation, it's a key asset for us since is in such a country like Argentina, with such as up and downs. It's really important to be close to our SMEs, supporting them in their capabilities and knowledge about markets outside from our countries, but not only in terms of how to make business or how to make different approaches linked with commercial issues, but also the great work done by the Foundation Banco Credicoop, as Eduardo mentioned, is linked with training and helping the SMEs to access to public or international organization loans access. So I really would like both the CIBP to have this space, and for sure also my friend Eduardo to be here and giving us the excellent job that he and his team is doing and the foundation. Need to leave, sorry, but I just would like to add this word.
Thank you, Claudio, so much. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Eduardo, Valeria sent me a message by phone, so I will read you the questions. She cannot connect anymore. Her questions would be, what would be the needs today and what are the best practices?
Las mejores prácticas para
The best practices, let's say for this program, in relation to this program, well, I think that I mentioned somewhat about best practices is to work on the sustainability of production. That's what we're really focusing on today. The subject of certification to be able to enter some markets with some products of our country, products, let's say, that are related to the food industry that require the certifications. And I say to have a behavior, when we talk about foreign trade, and this happens quite often, is that I was able to export what I wanted to export in a difficult year for Argentina. I met my target, but then I left the international market because the local market reactivated. When I'm talking about this behavior, it's the business behavior, business conduct to be continuous, to have this continuity, not only for the company, but in relation for the country, for Argentina, when we accept the challenge of foreign trade. I think that it's related to this three topic. To take care of the environment, we always have to think about caring for the environment, to have products that are competitive. And I insist, when we talk about competitivity, it's not only production. And to have business ethics, to be able to retain those markets. Sometimes that's very difficult to open those markets, so we have to retain them and we have to have this business ethics. So we really emphasize this when we draw the contracts with those companies that are interested in coming into our program. Sometimes it's difficult to open new markets in countries of the region. It's difficult, not only money-wise, but also to be able to position a product or a brand. And it's very easy to lose those markets. So I think that's something we have to take into consideration.
Thank you so much. I will forward the answers to Valeria, my colleague. I will let her know.
Bien. Brigitte, de todas formas, quedamos a disposición.
Brigitte, anyway, in the chat, I have put our addresses, the web and page and the emails, anything that could lead to a synergy, to a link between those of us who are in this meeting and those who were not able to join are there, so we can continue forward and continue growing.
Thank you so much. I will forward this to everyone who was present today and to the persons who could not join, so that they, if there's any interest or that they would like to revisit your presentation, please feel free also to reach out to, the information that were in the chat. I will put this all in an email and send it to everyone. So if nobody, or if you still have a question in an hour or so please then reach out. I will then also close this meeting. I would like to thank everyone, especially Eduardo, today for your wonderful presentation. Thank you so much. It really opened my eyes, and I hope you enjoyed it. And thank you everyone for joining, and have a good end of the year. We see you again next year. Bye-bye. And thank you also, Maria Claudia, for your interpretation. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye bye.